Hey guys, Tom itself here. Done a little launch domination, and I know I've uploaded a couple games on this map before using an SMG, so I figured I'd use an assault rifle this time. The launch is particularly bad about having spawns jump back and forth, and so it's generally easier and safest just to run in there like a madman with an SMG and clean them out of their own spawn. Yeah, you end up late to the party sometimes, but it's okay. So with the assault rifle, I'm obviously looking for longer range gunfights, which means I'm going to be using these main lines of sight from A to C across the map. And you see here on this far side, this is the really long one. It's really useful, it's also really dangerous. And that is because of, again, how easy it is to flip the spawns back and forth. You end up in that long line of sight looking to where you just killed guys, and more of them are spawning in behind you. Of course, the other way to do this is just to catch them sprinting, use the UAV. We manage to jam them as a team pretty often, so they're sprinting, I'm not, I can scope in and get kills. They do start to learn through this game, and they stop sprinting everywhere, and also get a little lazy near the end. But at first, it's working really well, because they're sprinting, and I get the shots off first, and I get the kills. So again, there are really four main lines of sight that I want to work here. The one at the far end off that diagonal ramp that looks out from B where the launch pad is. The one on the far side of the map that you saw me start with. The one in the middle, and then this one I was standing right next to. I can work that too, even though it's not really a long line of sight. As they come through there, I can sit up by this barricade and look down. If I am getting in gunfights looking directly away from or towards B for very long, there is a really good chance that someone is going to come from A or C and just shoot me in the side of the head, and it's going to be over. So if that happens, I either need to push in towards one of the points or fall back to my own. So that really brings up the role I'm trying to play here, and that is to keep this center high ground for my team. And as soon as they get up here, they die. So the gun is the FAL. I find that I have to run sleight of hand on this in order to be aggressive with it. Been trying different attachments. I've had some fun with the master key. I can normally win a gunfight pretty quickly just by shouldering the gun and wailing on the trigger. The thing that the master key does is the people with second chance, they don't get to go into it with the master key, so that's the real benefit. I've also come to realize just how much I rely on the spread from the shotgun when I'm using the spaz. And the master key is actually a pretty tight grouping, and it can be challenging to aim from the hip regularly. So it's actually taken a bit of getting used to, and it feels at times like it's really hard to use, but I think I'm just missing the shots. In this game, I'm trying to work on Tac Mask Pro, so I'm throwing gas sometimes. So back to lines of sight. There's a second one here, and this is the one I would really like to just sit and camp. And this one puts me just a little bit off from the one that's behind me, so it's a little bit harder for me to just get shot in the back. Now, you can also get up on that crane platform there, and that works out okay too. I just don't want to spend the time climbing up the ladder. I think there's a roof over some of that section that kind of hides it from the crane platform too, so it might be a little less useful that way. It's just been so long since I've been up there. So as we had that Blackbird up, my team got noticeably more aggressive, and I even went ahead and charged into the spawn looking for some kills. But now that we're back to just normal old UAV, I'm going to head back to this spot and see if I can't get some kills. Because again, this is where I would like to just camp with this thing, as boring as it is. And as much as I'd like to be here, it's not going to work out, so I need to keep moving around and looking for kills. I'm also going to generally try to keep the triple cap going. There's really no reason not to on this map, because the spawn jumps so easily. It really doesn't matter if you give them a point or not, it's just going to move all around the place. You may have noticed that I waited to call in my first Blackbird until after I died on my first life. The simple reason is, it makes it easier to get the second Blackbird. Black Ops kill streaks don't stack, but in this way it's kind of like Call of Duty 4, where if you wait to your next life to call in your air support, it can help you get more air support. So I'm headed up to the far side of this map here, between A and C, and as far away from B as I can get, and this is probably one of the most dangerous places on the map. There are three spots in front of me to watch: the door on the left, the little platform on the right, and straight down the center. There's the same stuff right behind me that can also see my back, and then there are the two lines that come down from B. You just cannot stay there very long and expect, especially with an unsilenced weapon, to stay alive. May have noticed where I put that motion sensor down. It's the same place as I put it down the previous life, and that is where I generally like to keep it on this map. It lets me keep an eye on the line of sight through the middle and the one that kind of curves around. especially the one that curves around, because they'll have to spend quite a bit of time in the motion sensor's range. Really useful because of the slow scan rate on the motion sensor. And that one closest to the launch pad is also the one with the shortest line of sight, so I need to be particularly careful about the one I actually spawned in. Is when people with SMGs run through there, I can't just be not sprinting. I need to have my gun already shouldered if I want to win that gunfight. Well, the game is, what is this, 149 to 32. We have a Blackbird and a chopper gunner in the air. So it's pretty well over, and I think this is either where they start to really pay attention, or is I got this guy camping over here, or I just get lazy. Lazy or not, I am still looking for kills, being aggressive, and I get in over my head here. The original plan is to provide longer range cover fire for my teammate with the SMG who's running down the ramp towards B. But he dies, and I'm getting flanked, so I try to run into the corner here, so the guy that kills him doesn't see me, but he does, and the guy who's flanking me gets me easily, and yeah, that's just a death right there. What I tried to do was just hip fire, get lucky, kill the guy who'd been flanking me. I didn't, and then I'd already turned to the next guy, because if I didn't kill him by that point, I was going to need to kill the other guys, so I would already switch targets. It didn't work out, and this guy isn't sprinting. I think they're starting to learn. I think this ass-kicking may have been teaching them something. That's dangerous. And this is why I like playing with friends. Grim Beetle saves my life right there. I put a couple late shots into his body, but I was in the middle of reloading, and he shot a couple rounds right in front of my face, so thank you, Grim Beetle. But at this point in the game, again, things are pretty well in hand, and we're all just looking to get some more kills before things finish up. Got several teammates headed over towards B, where the enemies are taking the point, so I go ahead and head into their spawn to see what I can't do. Of course, it turns out I'll be competing with a napalm strike for my kills. That's not going to help me a lot. This is funny here. I see this guy. I just turn. Do we have a problem? No, he's on fire, no problem. But we did lose B there, so we're going to try and take A, finish the game with more than 1 point. Oh, wow, that is some terrible shooting. But we're going to wrap things up with that. So I hope you enjoyed the commentary. A little more typical. I'm sorry I have a cold. I know it sounds funny. Believe me, I don't enjoy having a cold. What I am curious about is what you like to run on your FAL, or M14 for that matter. I can certainly use the iron sights here, and I had been running Scavenger to work on TAC Mask Pro, but once I finish with that, I'm not really sure what I want to do with it. The one thing I just can't seem to get away from with this gun is Sleight of Hand Pro. It just feels like I absolutely have to have it in order to be aggressive with it. Whatever, I'll see you guys later, and let's roll some bonus footage.
Spy planes in the air. Counter spy planes standing by. Securing Alpha. Counter spy plane up. They are blind. Napalm strike awaiting orders.